Hennessy.
Creative Happy Hour,
woo, woo, where we get drunk on the creative possibilities. So I am Karena.
And I am Micah.
And today we are doing Hennessy and Coke slushies.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. And why are we doing Hennessy and Coke slushies?
Well, because we are featuring
Kanye West. So we thought, who is the most divisive character in
the world of creativity?
The world of creativity. And we kind of did a deep dive on Kanye. And we found out that at his most recent concert, he actually on his rider was that he wanted Hennessy and Coke slushies backstage. So we thought, who are we to
solidarity? Yeah.
Right? Solidarity. So beginning part of the show, we're going to be talking about Hennessy and Coke and the history of Hennessy. And then we're going to be talking about, you know, glass half empty, glass half full, kind of about, I think, what creatives, you know, the kind of crazy, weird, or just crazy image of the creative.
Well, yeah, and
right?
Is it good or bad?
Is it good or bad? What does it do?
Or maybe it's both.
Or maybe it's both.
And I think Kanye West is a good example.
And he's a great...
He illustrates both sides of the spectrum.
Absolutely. He's a great embodiment of that. So then in part 2, we're going to be just talking about Kanye and about what he has to say about creativity, whether we think he's cuckoo, crazy, or, you know, crazy,
or a genius.
Or a genius. So let's get started, you guys. Cheers again.
Cheers.
And we are going to try our little
I've never had one.
Me neither. I've never been to a Kanye concert either.
It's kind of delicious.
It is kind of nice, actually.
Thanks, Kanye.
Thanks, Kanye. I mean, see, again. Oh, and by the way, maybe we should explain.
Oh, yeah. Can we talk about these outfits?
Let's talk about our outfits.
We didn't just forget to put our bra underneath. We did this on purpose.
We did this to ourselves on purpose. Yes, we did. This is, we were lucky enough to be lent some Kanye Yeezy collection 2016. Which
outfits, we love. And we don't even know why we haven't been wearing it.
I mean, this is
what is wrong with us?
This is a great outfit to go shopping in Calabasas. I mean, I think, right?
For sure.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm going to do in mine. Like, I think we need to go to Calabasas.
I thought I looked like Meg Ryan earlier. I was like, hey.
I think we both look pretty hot. Like, honestly, this is a thing that I think we might perpetuate.
We might start buying beige.
Right? I know. I never bought beige
No,
before.
Kanye brought beige back.
He did. See, again, I'm telling you.
Layered beige.
Layered
specifically.
Beige layers.
Beige layers.
It's kind of awesome. And thank you to our viewer, Linda Cosgrove, who is a creative powerhouse.
Shout out to Linda.
And who donated to us these pristine Kanye collection.
Who would have known that she had so many easy clothes?
Right? But, you know, it ain't easy, but it's so stupid.
It is for Linda.
It is for Linda. So cheers, Linda. Thank you for the clothes. And, okay, let's get started with the Hennessy.
Good.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Do you know anything about Henny?
Not that much. I mean, I know that it was a little spendy at the liquor store. And
I was
like,
damn.
I go, you have any other versions? And he was like, nope, it's the only one.
Okay, so we'll start with that. I'm going to tell you what the versions are and everything else. But, so Hennessy, and by the way, Hennessy, if you do want to sponsor us at any time, we're definitely up for it. So let's talk about...
I do know that it's cognac.
So,
what do you
cognac is from the Hennessy bottle.
Oh, it is.
There it is.
Oh, good. You took the price tag off.
Yeah, I did, because I'm classy.
I was going to cry about that.
I know. So this is Hennessy, and Hennessy is a cognac, meaning from the Cognac region in France. However, you might notice that Hennessy is not really a French name. Hennessy was founded by an Irish dude way back in, and you know I suck at dates, but I'm thinking 1752.
It sounds like when shit was bad.
Right, exactly. I know. Well, that
when guys like Hennessy would have a cognac company.
Okay. So you are starting to get
things.
The whole...
It doesn't seem right to me, Karena. Something
good. I'm glad that something seems a little off because this cognac has some bad and it has some good. So let's discuss. And also let's talk about our other ingredients.
It says half empty and half full.
Yeah, it's half empty. So Coca-Cola. Here we go. And this is our gold edition can
because it goes with the label on the Hennessy. I mean, let's be honest.
There you go. So that's
nice.
Yeah. So
gold on gold, beige on beige,
beige on beige.
Keeping with the theme, folks. Keeping with the theme.
Exactly. So I was fucking wrong about the date. So
it was like
1765.
Okay, you were close. You were the normal
So
range.
yeah, so Hennessy is an Irishman who was in the army. He was a nobleman, so kind of fancy, you know,
Yeah.
which Hennessy is kind of fancy. It's kind
I
of,
mean, cognac is pretty fancy.
it is very fancy. And the funny thing is, so Hennessy starts this brand, and his whole family, this has been a family-owned operation for the longest time until they finally sold it to, you know, huge-ass luxury French group that owns Vuitton and, you know, all
XO,
Moet Hennessy,
Remy XO,
Remy
all
XO,
of
all
those.
of that.
Yes.
So you're going to wonder so when you see often the Hennessy, you'll see the like letters like VS, XO, you know, OP, VSOP, all that stuff. And those letters are kind of interesting. So the VS is very special.
Ooh. Kind of like our show.
Yes. And the O will stand for old. So VO would be very old. And the VSOP is super expensive because that is very special old paradise. And that is the one that's going to be massive. That's the one they're featuring in all of the rap songs and everything else. I mean, and
yeah, and I've read some about cognac. I know
Yeah.
that they do try to keep a lot of consistency, and that's kind of one of the main things when they're producing it. And so,
Yeah, so blending
consistent
process.
color, the whole blending process.
So they go through like a whole thing with all these different steps. I believe they're like 40 steps. I might be waking that shit up, but I
Again,
think it's
numbers,
true.
not our thing.
Numbers,
This
not
isn't
my
a
thing.
math class.
I am a creative, and but I do believe that they go through this, and yeah, it goes through like 40 distillations. That's what it does, and so that's what creates. And so let's talk about the flavor. Are you sitting on your pillow?
Yeah,
again?
so you can
sweet.
see my
You don't
beige
have
on beige.
You don't have the Kim Kardashian pillow ass built in, so you
No.
have to sit on
but I do have
pillow assets of your
Assets.
own. You have assets of your own. So let's talk about the flavor of this.
Okay,
Because it's let's taste it
You
again.
put lime in it too?
I did. I put lime in it.
Put lime in the coconut?
The lime in the Hennessy. Yes, I did. So I did that because, I don't know, I wasn't feeling confident about just those two things.
Yeah.
And I thought a little bit of acidity would be good, and that's what I did. That's my
Yeah,
excuse.
I like that idea.
Right?
A little acidity.
Mm-hmm.
So it has like it's almost like a vanilla flavor to me.
Totally. It's got that like kind of toasted caramel type of thing. And I think a lot of that taste is a function of the barrel. You know, the French oak barrels do have that vanilla taste. And I think that they definitely encourage that with that whole kind of roasted, toasted feeling that you get. And
Yes.
I have
Caramel.
something caramel. It's like a caramel.
flavor.
Yeah. And that does pair really well with a Coca-Cola.
It really does.
And, you know, I think it's two flavors that go great
If
together.
we had
right?
some pommes frites.
I know,
it'd be
I
really
know.
nice.
Well, you know what we're eating later? Tater tots. But you guys, I'm sorry. Join us if you subscribe and if you like comment so nicely, maybe we'll invite you over for tater tots.
Yeah.
One of these
happen.
times. It could
There's some
happen.
slushy left too.
And there's some slushy
Make
too.
you a slushy
so
and a tater tot.
a slushy and a smile. So just definitely subscribe to us, and just the wonders will never cease.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's just gonna
amazing.
be endless pleasantries.
It's going to be amazing. So here's the other side of the story of Hennessy. It's a little bit
glass half empty.
glass half empty, a little bit glass half full, because so many people, you know, the reason you have all these rappers singing about the Hennessy is that Hennessy is one of those brands that definitely did market to the African American population in positive ways, unlike so many of the ads of the time, which were just super insulting and horrific.
Yeah.
They actually did show, you know, elegant Black people consuming this in a very trendy and cool manner. Sophisticated. Like everything was very sophisticated. And so it definitely was marketed in that way. However, the backstory is that there is a very negative history of giving slaves cognac to keep them drunk and not able to escape. And so that's kind of a very dark past, and it's, you know, it's not awesome at all. And I kind of like that Hennessy has committed to, you know, making things more positive along the way.
Yeah.
What
so
do
they
you
kind
think?
of, so they, I mean, I can see where, I mean, you obviously can't completely remake.
You
You
can't
can't
erase,
undo.
no.
You can't unring the bell.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think giving it more of a positive
Completely. And
representation is essential.
absolutely. And then they've kind of empowered, you know, more artists. They've been very, you know, they've been promoting the arts in terms of, you know, African Americans and the arts and the rap scene and everything else. But they've tried to do it in a very positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, literally thousands of rap songs about the Hennessy. And I'm like, this is incredible. I mean, there's
Yeah,
really
so it's
something
really,
to
it's been recycled essentially into
Completely.
something, you know, that is owned
yes.
culturally
Exactly.
by the Black community.
Exactly.
And so it's really, you know, it's very cool.
Completely. And so you've got Kanye, of course, with, you know, the backstage.
Well, yeah, and apparently he had a giant slushie machine.
Giant slushie machine. So Kim Kardashian had a slushie machine that was basically, I think it was Grey Goose vodka and lemonade. So we might want to try those because, okay, so full disclosure, our slushie machine, Amazon Prime, because it
Thanks for nothing.
disappeared. Yeah, thanks for nothing, Amazon Prime. They disappeared our slushie machine, and we're not
Yeah,
happy about
apparently it got mispackaged, is what they
mispackaged.
said, and then it
That's
it
what
was
I
supposed
feel
to
about the
arrive.
shit I say.
Yeah, it was
Mispackaged.
supposed to arrive 2 days ago,
Yeah, so
and then it was supposed to arrive. It'll get here at 10 o'clock tonight.
It
but
will.
That doesn't do me any good when it's film night.
I'm gonna be like, let's make some daiquiris.
There will be other slushies in our life.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Like more and more.
Daiquiris
So
and
we would
weird
recommend
stuff.
any fans, you might want to buy a slushie machine. Maybe buy it from your small local merchant instead of buying it from Amazon.
We were desperate because
we were desperate, and now we're sad. But we are very resourceful, so
Yes.
we basically blended.
we got
ice.
yeah.
I froze the Coca-Cola because I'm prepared that way.
Yeah.
And I may be Debbie Downer, but sometimes that's a good thing because
Well, my glass is half full because she did the right thing with the
little
Coke
Miss-
cans.
Exactly, because little Miss Negative went and froze it. So there
Yeah.
you go. Don't freeze them. Don't freeze them. Closed. You want to empty them into a glass before you do that.
Yeah, I mean,
so that they don't
come on,
blow up.
people.
Yeah.
Put your thinking cap on.
Yes, I mean we don't do math, but we do some science.
Yeah.
And speaking of thinking cap, I really.
Oh yes.
This is amazing.
Well, it was in one of the.
It was in the show.
The Yeezy photos.
Absolutely.
But these, I'll tell you, these
Okay,
are
yeah,
my
let's
daughter's
full
damn
disclosure,
skin
yes.
ballet tights. So, you know, there's a little action on the back.
A little high-low.
Yeah, a little high-low going on. But I like that because then I have a train. And I like having a train.
I love
I've
it.
never had one.
Choo choo.
So-
No, it's good. So
Toot my own horn.
toot your
right?
own. Yeah, toot your own. Me. I think it's awesome. So
So anyway,
We're loving
where
that.
were we?
okay. I'm just going to add a few more things about where the cognac was going. It was going to Holland. They were calling it burnt wine, hence the toasty, right? It was actually the first people who kind of made this. They did it so that they could transport the wine more easily without it going through all the taste changes.
Oh,
and
I
everything,
didn't know
and that's
that
why.
was the reason why they did it.
Yes,
Interesting.
that's why. But of course, if you're talking about 1700s and shipping, unfortunately, see, you're wrapping it into the trade, you know, the
Yeah.
slave trade again. So that's where that came from. And then,
So do you know anything about the family? I mean, is it
yeah,
still...
they're still, yes. So it's still family owned. One last thing was that they were the first high-end liquor brand also to advertise in African American magazines such as Jet and Ebony.
Oh, interesting.
So that's another very cool thing. So the family has held on to it, and they're still kind of working with and the whole, you know, conglomerate. They're still working. They're very high-end. One of the great grandsons named Killian, which is a family name that's been passed down. He now
Very
does
Irish.
very Irish. He now but they speak French. I mean, this is the great thing. So they're kind of Franco-Irish at this point. And Killian does a super high-end perfume product that's just beautiful packaging. I actually covered that in a magazine article a while back. So I had some and I loved it. So good job for them. They've just kept everything very high-end, very classy.
Yeah.
And I like it. And this is great. I don't think I would
I mean,
pay...
I would probably drink this. I like cognac. I like to
think
drink
it's
cognac,
lovely.
actually, and I like to drink it neat. So on a cold night, drinking a little cognac in the bathtub,
Nice.
not bad.
Very nice. But I would say that if we're going to make a slushie out of it, we don't need to go any more high-end than the... this is the VS. We don't need to go any higher than that. We're not.
No, but this was my only option at the liquor store. I tried to go to Bevmo, but didn't work out. I didn't have time.
Again, if you want us to have more options, like, you know, let's
send us a bottle.
Send us a bottle.
You know, the
Throw us a
other one.
bone. Something.
Come on, help us out.
Something. Oh, and the other thing is, other than the family, so they were also hiring African Americans for very high level positions in their organization as well.
That's
There you
good.
go.
That's
So
smart.
it is extremely smart. And I have a few more things to say historically about the Hennessy before I forget and we go on to talking about
Yes.
the glass half empty, glass half full. the whole tradition of kind of marketing to people in the music industry and through music is really a cool idea, because the people at Hennessy thought of this whole African tradition. Sorry, Fiona is... Hello. Hi, I'm Fiona.
Hi, she's beige too.
She's beige too. So the whole tradition of the griot, which is the singer or the storyteller who kind of passes down the historical information via song or music or poetry. So they kind of activated that concept and kept it alive. So that's why all these rap songs. So I'm going to go through, 1,000 songs. So Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, Kanye West, Rick Ross, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Drake. I mean, you can't buy that kind of endorsement, so that's the interesting thing.
Well, didn't Dr. Dre buy Beats?
Yes.
And that was very much
another
where they culturally infused the whole the music and created this, you know, cultural, I don't even know what you call it.
I think it was an
like
integration.
A story. It was an integration, and
taking the power of, you know, we've got the cool tools that are going to put the music directly in your ears, and we're going to produce the music, and we're going to make it cool, and we're going to advertise via the people who are the artists. I mean, I think that's really cool. It's a very aspirational story.
Yeah, for the people that use the product, not just like, oh, we're making this product and trying to get people into it. They're actually going to the people that make the music and the beats, and creating it via, you know, the innovation of the people that make music.
Integration of fashion, music, you know, and business.
Right.
So I think that that's kind of an interesting thing. So speaking of the business, I mentioned Killian Hennessy, who's kind of a descendant, but there was a Killian Hennessy who was in the 70s. He took over. He was the 5th generation direct descendant of the first Hennessy. He became the CEO at this point. And he succeeded his first cousin, Maurice Richard. And so he spearheaded the company's merger in 1971 with Moet Chandon, the champagne brand. So they created Moet Hennessy, which now was repurchased by Louis Vuitton, as I mentioned before.
Oh,
so they're this huge, so a huge, massive LVMH, which is Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. So that's what LVMH stands for, speaking of letters standing for things.
So speaking of like fashion meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's quite the integration.
Yeah.
So then the group was taken over in the late 80s by Bernard Arnault, who's still Salma Hayek's, no, is it Bernard Arnault? No, that's Pinot. I always get them confused, these rich Frenchmen. But anyway, Bernard Arnault took over, and so he is there, and then they bought, they had Christian Dior already, and then Guinness also helped them. So it was all fashion and alcohol, So that's what we're doing today.
I mean, isn't that really,
fashion and alcohol.
So here we are, representing.
Here we are. And then Killian Hennessy remained on the advisory board until he died in 2010. Guess how old he was when he passed away?
You really want me to guess?
I do. I love guessing games, and people are like, bitch, I'm not going to get it that close. But yeah, go for it. Come on. Guess high, because if you're drinking
no.
Right?
No, I was going to say like 93.
103. Close.
103
years old.
Maybe we need to start drinking this regularly. What the heck?
Well,
Keeps your blood thin.
Speaking of glass half empty, I just read an article today. It came out about alcohol causing cancer as much as smoking, and I was like, fuck you, scientists.
You know what? That is such bullshit on top of bullshit.
Right? I mean, I'm sorry, you're trying to take everything away from us?
Everything causes the stress. And it's like, the cortisol. It's like, well, how do you get the cortisol calmed down? You drink a Hennessy. Hello. People, you can't have it both ways.
You cannot have it both ways. Though, you can have it both ways when you're creative and crazy. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's
glass
talk
half
about
empty,
that.
Glass half full.
Yeah.
Which one are you today? Or are we just going to discuss it? I'm usually the little bitch who's like, glass half empty.
I'm it's interesting. I'm glass half empty that is now glass half full, because I wasn't necessarily immediately a Kanye fan.
In terms of Kanye, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. But Kanye is our deep dive in the second part. But right now we're just talking about creative and crazy.
Creative and crazy. I actually, I think that they are not mutually exclusive. They can live together.
They can cohabitate.
And
they can cohabitate for sure. I think. Okay, why do you think the whole creative and crazy stereotype?
In other episodes we called it multi-passionate, right?
We did. Yeah, we meant super crazy is what. No, I'm just kidding. We did not. You're absolutely right. Yeah. No, you can, I think you can be both. And I think you don't need to be crazy to be creative.
Well, you have to be risky enough. And I think risky and crazy get mixed up.
That is exactly where I think
you have to be risky enough to draw attention to something.
Yes.
You know, creatively.
Yes.
Enough to, you know, I mean, I think creativity, you know, it can be considered art, but it can also be considered solving a problem.
Yeah, creative ideas
to solve a problem. And so I think crazy and, you know,
and super brilliant
can often
live on the same
live on the same frequency.
They do for sure. And that's where, so I think you're absolutely right. I think that the risk part is exactly where this concept comes from. The taking risks is where people are like, no sane person would put themselves out there like this, but you do have to take the risks.
Today I heard Kanye say, you know, I was listening to, he said the ideas are more important than our personal well-being. That's what he says. Right, our ideas are more important than our personal well-being, that you have to take these risks in order to generate new ideas and new, you know, anything, to create anything.
Right. And the sane person is usually about self-preservation, right? So the sane person is about, you know, make themselves more comfortable rather than less comfortable. But the creative person is like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to forego, you know, the financial comfort. I'm going to forego, you know, the big house and everything else. I'm going to sit there in my freezing cold studio and produce things because it's important for me to put myself out there.
Yeah.
It's important for me to take the risks, which may or may not pay off.
They may or may not.
And the payoff has a different definition for the creative. Yeah. For the creative, they can fail, but they're like, I succeeded because I explored this and I took a deep dive. Right? Whereas anybody else is going to be like, I don't have the metrics to prove that I succeeded.
No, they fail over and over and over.
They do, but that's what entrepreneurs do now.
Yeah.
You know, and so that whole failing thing, I think we're learning very slowly.
Well, they're teaching it in school. You know, it's now part of, it's part of the dialogue of how do you think creatively outside of the box. You have to try, you have to take risks, and you have to fail so you can gather information, you can observe where you went wrong.
Totally. And then you learn from the failing so much, and you learn from the risk. But, you know, at which point can we talk about, you know, somebody who's super creative, and then at which point do we say they're actually nuts? Like,
I mean, I think both things can happen. I mean, I think you can look back historically and talk about all kinds of creatives.
Yes, absolutely.
That they, you know, now we talk about in present times as, they were brilliant innovators, or they were brilliant painters, or they were incredible writers. But then if you really go back and look at their story,
they were actually
mentally ill, unstable.
But also now the interesting thing is that we tend to medicate more easily.
Not always, though.
Not always, but we tend to medicate or control or define. So you'll say, oh, this person's bipolar, we're going to medicate them with this. And then so many of my friends who've been medicated like that will be like, well, I feel like I'm just kind of baseline, and, you know, there are no ups or downs.
Yeah, and I also think that's, you know, a lot of diagnosis is, in my opinion, a lot of it is, it's a man-made construct.
Completely,
because,
I mean,
it is.
Well, where do you draw the line, right?
Yeah, you know, you see so many kids that can't sit still in class, and it's like, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, kids played outside all day long, and they were encouraged to be active.
Yes,
now kids spend a lot of time indoors, and, you know, we evolved outdoors.
Yes, exactly.
You know, if you believe in evolution, you evolved outdoors.
So being ADHD is not a bad thing. You're paying attention.
You're like, okay, there's a deer over here. Yeah. My Neanderthal girlfriend's over here. There's a couple berries on that tree I need to get. I got to make sure that the kid doesn't run out into the tiger's mouth. Right? I mean, you had a lot going on back in the Serengeti.
A lot going on.
So,
a lot of multitasking involved.
Yeah, somebody needs a Hennessy.
Somebody needs a Hennessy once in a while. But I was reading something interesting about the different mental illnesses that creatives have, and it was funny because they're like, ADD or ADHD, very helpful for writers, but also for scientists who need to be making different, kind of observations and links between
cross-observations.
Yes, those are the creative ideas. Then you had the completely bipolar or schizo, which is great for that completely wacko out there creative idea, but not necessarily. That is more on the level of achieving projects.
Well, yeah, because you get a rush of energy. You get a manic state that allows you to stay up all night and knit a sweater.
Exactly. Yeah, knit a sweater.
Or six.
Or six. Yeah, but so you have that where that is that kind of nervous energy is going to get you to achieve different benchmarks, but then you don't have that prolonged thing that would enable you, for example, to finish a book or something necessarily. And then I was reading about, what other mental illnesses, and they're like, and actually psychopaths, they're all in the financial services field. And I was like, great, that's my husband, so that's cool. Yeah. And I was like, and so no creative, almost no creative is actually psychopathic, is rare, unless they've got like ADD or schizo on top of it.
Yeah, so I mean, wow. You can have layered. Kind of like these
like us, outfits, like layered. Our outfits, layered.
You have crazy on crazy.
Crazy on top of crazy.
Beige on beige and crazy on crazy on crazy.
Absolutely.
No, but I think, the whole crazy thing is, we're never going to get, we're never going to get a hold on that.
No.
But I do think there are, there's a really big spectrum.
Yeah.
Of risk taking.
For sure.
And you kind of have to examine, I think, where you are on the spectrum.
Complete. And I think that now that our heroes are these entrepreneurs who are kind of nuts. I mean, look at Elon Musk, who's completely crazy.
I mean, because I was on a hike and I was like, seriously, Elon?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you want to help the environment, why aren't you hanging out with like Amtrak and figuring out how to create the train?
Well, he's got the boring company that's going underground.
I know, but he's digging holes.
That's because that's what's fun to him.
Tracks.
It's because he's insane.
I know, but seriously, like, there's got to be other ways.
There are other
rockets,
ways. Right? But that's what interests him.
That's old news.
Well, that's his project of the day. That's what's interesting him. But I think that people are seeing these models of these crazy entrepreneurs who have
driving me to drink.
Right? I know. But these crazy entrepreneurs who have these crazy ideas that you would have thought he's completely insane. Like, he might have been locked away before, but now people are worshiping him, going, "Oh my God, what creative connections he's making!
Yeah,
so interesting." So I think that has kind of leached down to the creative artist.
And again, I mean, as we've said before, it really is creativity is kind of the last frontier. You cannot, artificial intelligence
can't replicate the creativity.
It can't replicate it. I mean, at least not yet.
Not yet.
I think
you'd have to make the robots or the machines crazy. And that's where you go. That's exactly it. But we talked one time in one of our past episodes about, the shock value.
You have to make the robots crazy.
You do. It's very Isaac Asimov of me, right? It's what are you doing, right? You're like, ooh, Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov. I don't know which one, but
you're like,
it's
just
good.
Throw a
that
shocker
was a damn good idea. Come on.
It was.
It
was.
Writing prompt.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that we were talking about the shock value and how things, have to keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed.
Yes.
And so I think that our, idea of what is sane and what is not is also getting pushed in, a similar direction as we go. So, yeah.
And I think, always for me, a litmus test is like, okay, it's going so far. It's, and I'm happy to take risk. I mean, obviously, look at what I'm wearing. But
we're the same. We don't take a risk. Look, we're assimilating. We're like,
I know. We're doing exactly what I'm doing. What you're doing.
We're twinning. We're followers.
It's not even original because it was already done in 2016 by a famous person.
Yeah, it's vintage Kanye. I mean, come on. But I think that Kanye actually kind of said what was the difference between completely crazy and creative, where he was like, it's kind of the intention as well. It's like, are you trying to put good out there? Are you trying to
I guess
something?
That's what it is. Like the litmus test for me is, are you trying to do something to invigorate a conversation about a positive outcome? Are you trying to create something that's more about love and less about fear? Yep. And I think that is essentially what Kanye is about.
It is.
That's his essence, and that's why I was like,
essence of Kanye.
Pop crush number 16.
I know. She's got a lot of pop crushes.
Yeah, I do. I get pop crushes because I'm like, he's amazing.
Right? But like, okay, so we're going to refill our glasses, and we're going to come back with the thinking part, which is this time going to be thinking all about Kanye.
Yes, we've already warmed you up.
We have. So bear with us as we refill our glasses, and we're going to join you back for the thinking part. Cheers.
Cheers.
We are back with our freshly refilled glasses. Cheers to you. Cheers. Welcome to the thinking part, where we take a deep dive onto Kanye West. And how he convinced us that, you know, I mean, there are a lot of things. He's very divisive. I mean,
yes.
Kanye is one of those people, a lot of people, I actually mentioned to people that we were doing an episode on Kanye West, and some people didn't even want to listen to me.
They were like, "Ooh, are you sure?"
Oh my God,
that?
Yeah, no, they were like, "Oh, I hate him."
Oh, I don't know if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, and
well,
I was
and
like,
a lot of
people,
a little
crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you know, mentioned because he's a Trump supporter, which,
by the way, we're not going to
talk about that
into that. Yeah, because we're not a political program. At all. We're like Kanye, we're very inclusive. Let's just cover what he thought. Kanye thought he was just expanding the conversation. And also I think he does have some little mental issues where he's tried to impress the people who he knows look down on him. So he thought, you know, I'm going to come into this position of being in the Oval Office was like, hey, I'm becoming part of the conversation. And
but what he says
respect.
is that no one can tell you, you know, what to think, what, you know, who to like, what to like, you know. And I think that's what I like about him is that he does, which is a more moderate approach.
It is a more moderate
it's
approach.
less polarized to talk about your own, you know, to value your own, you know, thoughts.
Completely. And some people will say he values his thoughts too much. Some people will say he's a raging narcissist, that he's super self-involved, and that he talks about himself in the third person, and he's, you know, Jesus and Yeezy. And I mean, what I think is crazy is just, and we'll touch on this later because he's literally doing Sunday services right now, but we will go back to that. First, let's talk about the most obvious thing here, the fashion, because that is something where it's a new art form, you know, relatively speaking.
Yeah, but I mean, they told him he couldn't do music, you can't do fashion, you can't do this, you can't do that.
You know what his training is originally?
He went to art school.
He went to art school. He was a painter.
Yeah,
so he told people, he's like, you know, I've conned you all, and I'm laughing the whole way because you guys are all talking about my music, but I'm doing these paintings, these sound paintings. That's what he calls his music.
I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of feel like that about my fiber frequencies.
Of course.
I feel like they're fiber painting.
Exactly. They're like fiber. It's broadening what the art is and redefining things. And that's what he's been doing all along. So
which I love.
Right? I mean, that is true creative thinking, I have to say, right?
It really is.
So let's talk about what he did with the fashion, because he did the same thing with fashion. So, you know, in typical Kanye style, he says, I want to be like the Steve Jobs of the Gap. And we're like, what? You know, and he says this while he's also trying to gain the, you know, admiration and gain the acceptance of Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue, who is, you know, she's super, you know who she is. She's got a little bob. She's super snobby. And she had said that she would never feature Kanye and Kim on the cover of Vogue. And look what happened. 2014, here they are.
Never say never.
Never say never, because they're on the cover. Maybe it's 2015, but you know me and dates. So maybe
they're one of those Henny slushies.
Exactly. So they are on, you know, Vogue. And here's Kanye having fashion shows. He had that famous fashion show that he did on Roosevelt Island where he kind of refused the whole Fashion Week thing of being near Bryant Park or being near, you know, these traditional places to hold a show. He shuttles everybody out, pisses everybody off because he was at the same time as some of the bigger shows. Takes everybody to Roosevelt Island, which, you know, New York, you have to take the tram, you know, the aerial tramway. And it's like 103 degrees out. The models are passing out.
Everyone's melting.
Everybody's melting. He makes people wait for like 2 hours.
And they're layered.
And they're layered, yeah. These models are passing out. And it was a horrible thing. So people got super pissed. So the next fashion show, he does something a little bit more conventional. He goes, but he projects it. It's not live at first, and he does it kind of concurrently. A friend of ours who's here actually was involved with one of those events and thought, that's incredible. He's bringing it down to more people and more youth at the same time. And he's kind of crazy like a fox, though, because all of these fashion shows, all of this news shit, you know what it's about? He's selling sneakers. Like, he doesn't give a shit about this crap. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's almost ridiculous. Like, I kind of feel like one day he's going to turn around and be like, I pulled shit out of the dumpster.
Yeezys and Yeezys.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean, it was all about the sneakers. I mean, seriously. But then the really incredible thing that happened.
He didn't want the clothes to compete with the sneakers.
He did not. He did not. So this is what you get. And we're fine with it. We're not mad about it. But
we don't have Yeezys on, so don't worry.
We don't. We're not wearing Yeezys, so we can't show you our feet, which are really beautiful, but we just can't.
I know. Don't be sad.
Yeah, don't be sad. But so the other thing, so then he, you know, is doing this Fashion Week thing, trying to be accepted. He makes it onto Vogue, and then he's like, and he cancels his fashion show in New York, and everybody's like, what the fuck? He's backed out. He's a loser. He can't cut it. No. Here's Kim Kardashian shopping in Calabasas, running her errands, eating Kit Kat bars, doing all this shit. Here are all her friends, right? I know. And the Kardashians, like, they have like this 6-step method to eating a Kit Kat bar.
There's a method.
Like the Kardashian method is crazy with a K. But a Kit Kat with a K. Oh my God. It's like all on brand. God. It's all on freaking brand. It's incredible.
So out of control.
So they're doing their shopping. They're wearing these crazy like beige outfits. You know, Kim's got her ass poured into these beige sweatpants and shit. And at the end of the week, they've been in every magazine. Pictures of Kim and all her friends everywhere. And at the end of the week, they post something on Insta or on Snapchat, and they're like, thank you, Karena Feld, for, you know, styling the whole thing. She's the major Vogue stylist. And they're like, and thank you, Calabasas, for being our runway. And I'm like, you
oh my God, they did like a
genius.
Yeah, he did like a
live show.
Yeah.
He pulled a Netflix. He cut out the middleman completely. He cut out the mannequins. He cut out the models. He cut out the whole production thing and did this thing his own way. Free advertising everywhere.
Oh my God.
And at the same time, by the way, every time he had a show or whatever, a fashion show, he would actually be launching his music at the same time. I mean, this guy, so he did it. He was the Steve Jobs of
no, he is.
the Gap. You know, like that's truly what he did. And he's playing all these fashion brands against each other. He's got, you know, like Adidas, and he's got, you know, Nike, and he's just trying to shoot on all angles. And that's true creative thought.
Yeah.
You know, the guy, I mean, no matter what you want to say about him, it's kind of genius.
Brilliant.
Right? It's kind of brilliant.
It really is.
So what for you, what were the main moments? Well, because
he, you know, the thing that he says is that, you know, it's not, you know, he's like, there's going to be people that can't stand me, that get really pissed off,
and he doesn't care.
Haters.
And he doesn't care.
And then there's going to be the people that really love what I'm doing. And he said, and none of that matters. What matters is that he sparks that, you know, that he does it for the people that do love it, and that it sparks a conversation.
Completely. And so many people
and then it moves us forward.
Exactly.
In the way we think.
Completely. I mean, and people say he's all about the ego, but I don't think he is, because he doesn't care about failing in the least.
I don't think he does either. At
all.
I do think that he really does it for the joy of creating.
He completely does.
I do. I get that sense from him.
Well, he said that he creates like a 3-year-old. Have you read this thing where he's like...
No, but I can see that.
Yeah, he goes, I create like a 3-year-old. He's like, basically, you know, when you're 3, so one day you're riding your bike, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you have to ride your bike for the rest of your life. You can the next day be drawing with crayons or whatever.
You can put your bike down and go ride your big wheel.
Exactly.
And you can go finger paint.
Or go finger paint.
You can go eat a cheese sandwich.
Completely. You know? And so that's what he does. And he's so right. He creates like a 3-year-old.
Well,
where he's like, I'm not going to be tied down.
And that's, you know, I think the refreshing thing about it. And also, you know, we were kind of talking about how really brilliant people are able to, you know, they're able to manage more complex
completely
things. You know, like they're not just like, oh, I only do this and I only do that. Right. They're able to cross all kinds of...
He crosses it all, and then he brings these things together, and all of a sudden you'll see after the fact be like, dude, wait, he actually did that?
Yeah.
And that's where...
And that it actually has some coherent framework for it.
Oh, exactly. Like, even his music, the way he samples things. And a lot of people are like, he's not the best rapper. He's like, I know I'm not the best rapper. Like, he doesn't care. I mean, this is a man who had a car accident, almost died, rapped a whole song through the wires that were wiring his jaw shut because he broke it. And he's like, that's not even the point. The point is the whole experience of what I'm doing. You know, he doesn't care. He knows damn well. He's like, my voice is not, you know, important. And when he gives an interview also, you can tell sometimes he's on and he's just, you know, and people think it's because he's manic or he's bipolar, but sometimes he's on, sometimes he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And you can tell. This is him. He's like...
You can tell. Yeah, you can. So, or he's tired, or he's not really...
He is like into this shit or not. You know, he just doesn't care. Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to put on airs.
No.
And be what I'm not. The other cool thing that I thought, so we were talking about the relationship of the creative to making money and success and all that stuff. Do you remember when he put out this thing, he Facebooked or tweeted or that he was like $59 million in debt, or 56. Again, my numbers are a problem, but it's a high number, like in the 50s.
I mean, I can't even relate to this at all.
He said he was super in debt, and he was asking if Mark Zuckerberg could give him money or something like that. And people are like, oh my God, this is a sign that he's completely insane, that he's had a breakdown. And he agrees that he had a sort of a breakdown. He calls it a breakthrough.
Yeah, right? I always have. Yeah. I've been calling them breakthroughs. You're like, girl, you're not having a breakdown. You're not having a breakdown. You're having a breakthrough.
Yeah. So he said, listen, of course I'm asking Zuckerberg for money, because
he's the one that has what I need.
Yeah. He's like, A, he has it. B, I need money to do this shit. And he's like, and he goes, and I will, and he has shown time and time again, he will put all of his money into something that he believes in. And he's like, and if other people believe in me, like, I want their money. Give me, like, and it's an interesting way.
Did MZ give him the money?
No. He did not. But I mean,
shocked.
But I'm sure we'll look back and see that there's been some deal where Kanye somehow got Facebook to do something, right?
Yeah, totally.
Right? It's kind of incredible.
Well, it was an interview. It was the Canes Lion, and they were interviewing him about business and
nice.
And it was funny because I don't even know the woman, because I only saw part of it, but she was like, you know, how come who's the lead singer for the Rolling Stones? Mick Jagger. She's like, how come Mick Jagger wasn't selling skinny jeans back in the day?
Right.
And and he was like, well, the times have changed, you know, and he's just like, it's a new marketplace.
Right. Yeah.
And it is. I mean, if you think about, anyone can go on, make a radio show, make a TV show. Anybody can do it.
We can't. Yeah. We have that power now, and yeah, anybody can do it.
And he was kind of saying that, if I was interpreting it correctly, is that all of this whole internet and all of this, technology has created a whole new marketplace.
Completely.
That everything is going to be valued differently.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to go to the bank. I can just go, I can Venmo my friend's money.
Exactly.
And it's so convenient because I don't have time to go to the bank.
Right. And I think that he's definitely thinking in different currencies.
Yeah.
For sure. That I can see him doing that. But what's so interesting is that all of the stuff he says, every time he's being shocking and everything else, he is very conscious of what he's doing. This is not stuff that he just happens to do and he's going to see what sticks. Like, no, he actually has strategy. So he says when he's sitting there and he's running his mouth and making people pissed off, he's like, I'm just rattling their cages.
Right.
And seeing how they react. He's like, I'm opening the discussion.
Well, it's like a distraction. It's like, oh, no, look over here. And then you go and do this other thing.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, it's as old as time.
No, absolutely. And he's somebody who, he looks at family, and I think that now that he has kids and a wife, like, unlike so many people who don't really get affected by it, especially in Hollywood or whatever, he actually has been thinking really strongly about that and about what his legacy is going to be, bringing down. And he was talking about something that his grandfather had said. He's very, he was very attached to his mother. A lot of his businesses are named after his mom, Donda, who passed away. She had plastic surgery and died, and horrible.
Ooh.
Yeah. But his mother was, highly educated and pushed that education in him, and his grandfather as well was a very creative man and said that life is about performance, and that's a lesson that he's completely held on to. It's incredible, So I just think that that's so interesting. So he's a new kind of artist for me. I think that love him or hate him, like, look and see what he's doing, because I think that just looking at his example, I mean, you don't want to be like Kanye all the time and be, ranting and raving, and, but look and see how he's integrating different things.
Yeah. And how can you bring that approach? I mean, I think every show we talk about, whether it's the morning ritual or it's the, I don't know.
Well, we have
intellectual approach versus the pop culture approach.
Exactly. Yes.
I think this
is an approach to creativity.
This is an approach to creativity where you bring a lot of attention to both sides, negative or positive.
Completely.
You bring, these conversations up.
Yeah.
You rattle cages, you draw attention, you take risks.
Completely.
And this is an approach, and I don't think it's necessarily the wrong approach.
No, I don't think. I don't think that anybody. I don't think everybody should be like Kanye.
No.
You know how they used to have the ads or like be like Mike. Not everybody should be like Kanye, because we would be pretty much a society of like raving people who would be, I think it could be a little bit destructive.
It could be a little bit nuts.
It could be a little bit nuts, but I think that he is very aware that he has the luxury of being in this position of somebody who is kind of up there and out, and he has had the courage to push himself out there.
And I guess that's the message. Yeah. Don't be afraid to put something out there that other people are not going to like.
Absolutely.
Because, like he says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if so-and-so likes you and so-and-so doesn't.
Completely.
What matters is that you spark something.
Yeah. And I think that that's such a good message.
Yeah, it really is.
And that is definitely our homework to you, to see, like, what can you put out there that, you know, without worrying if people are going to love it or not, and thinking, you know, how can I bring in these different realms? How can I bring in those different sides of myself, or different sides of the business, or different art, so that I can create something that's very unique? You know, without necessarily having a breakdown.
With the intention, I think, of making the world a better place. I mean, I think that is the one thing about, that is something that I really loved about his message, is that it's not just creativity for the sake of creativity.
It's not. He is trying to improve things and change things for the better.
It is about improving and making the world a better place, a more loving place, a less fearful place.
Completely.
And I think that's one of the main reasons that I was compelled to have a pod crush on him.
Exactly. Well, I think that he's so different from so many other, you know, he's in an industry, like the rap music industry traditionally was very kind of macho, a little misogynistic, you know, the messages were very violent, and he's the opposite of that. I mean, he's kind of this very artistic, sensitive, you know, that's his message. He's got this message. Once in a while he can be a little insulting and just to get people's goat, but he's not a violent man, and he's not, you know, Fiona, again, she's back.
I was listening to that song Runaway, and it's such a beautiful video because it has all those ballet dancers, and you know, something that I can really appreciate is ballet dancers, because I watch a lot of ballet. And and I just thought the juxtaposition between the ballet and, you know, this kind of rap song.
Yes.
You know, he was bridging these two art forms.
Completely. And he's always referencing something that interests him. I mean, that's what I love about his videos. They're all so different. They're not one note. He'll find something that he does a deep dive into, that he's fascinated with. And he's sometimes like, does this really go with my song? Maybe, maybe not, but he's going to make it work in some way, and he's going to have a video that's kind of fascinating. And then it's like there's a performance art around the whole thing.
Yeah, you know? I loved just watching the modern ballet.
Completely.
And their outfits were beautiful.
Yeah, and you see that he gets it. Like, that's the other thing, is that you see that he completely gets it. He completely understands.
He was engaging with it.
Completely.
At least that's the way I saw it.
So I think the last thing we can say about Kanye, this is the part that I find kind of fascinating, and I started to bring it up, and I was like, no, I think this is where we're going to conclude with, is, have you heard about his Sunday services?
No.
Oh my God. So Kanye has literally started doing Sunday services. So first of all,
like almost like church.
Like church. Oh. Yeah. So Hollywood has a bunch of churches that we've heard of, you know, Scientology, stuff like that. It was like, oh my God, he's starting a new religion. This is crazy. But I've noticed before he started his church services, he started exploring when he was doing record launches and stuff like that. He started doing it in unique ways that meant more to him and that were more emotional, that would bring his friends together. That he's all about community. And the spirit of community. And the spirit of community and family. And I think that he's trying to explore that idea of music as having something, as being something bigger, and of creativity as being kind of the divine.
A spiritual source, or a connection to God's source.
Exactly. So that's what he's doing with the Sunday services. They become, right. I mean, I think it's kind of fascinating. I'm wondering, you know, and he often had that whole saint, you know, the St. Pablo persona, the Yeezy, the Yeezus. He had this fascination with religion, and at first I thought he was doing it to just be a little bit either narcissistic or
Which, you know who else did too, was Prince. I mean,
Prince very much did.
Like, you never knew if he was singing to God or his lover.
Completely,
you know? I mean,
completely, which I think is really interesting that they're exploring that.
You know, again, I mean, one of the most creative people, we should actually do a whole show on.
Because let's do a purple drink and do Prince.
Oh yeah, I think we need to do that, because he's one of my all-time favorite artists on the planet.
Because he bridged all the masculine, feminine, and the
he really did. But I do think the similar type of thing, though, not to go off on a Prince tangent.
We're not. We're going to do that another time.
But I do think that, you know, there was often that experience where you didn't know if he was singing to God or singing to his lover, and it was really the divine creative force.
Completely.
That he was united with.
And I think that Kanye is very much downloading that in a world like Hollywood and Calabasas, which is just so superficial. But I think that he's really bringing these people You know, all these celebrities, all these people, like you'll see, if you look online or anything, you'll see pictures of these people dressed to the nines, you know, wearing, you know, full on Kanye fashion, everything else, going to Sunday services. And I would kill for an invite to one of his services because
we'll have to get one in San Francisco.
Yes, because I just think it's probably fascinating. I mean, I would love to hear a Kanye sermon and a Kanye performance, you know, in that whole, you know, divine. I'm sure
maybe Oprah will have him on Super Soul Conversations.
Oprah, if you're listening,
Soul Sundays. Can you have him on?
Yeah, Oprah, if you're listening to us,
I subscribe to you, so you should subscribe to me as well.
Oprah doesn't listen to us yet.
I love how you're the growth mindset girl. Put "yet" on the end of your sentences.
So so Oprah, when you finally, you know, download,
when you finally get to us,
yes, which you will at some point.
Eventually. There's no way around it.
There's not. Unavoidable. But hopefully either you or we will have Kanye on, you know, and we and we can explore our pod crush.
Yeah, maybe my slushie machine will be here by then.
That would be awesome.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I can make you an authentic slushie.
Yes, that'll be amazing. We'll just have it going in the background. You'll be like, what's that? In the background, we're like, slushie machine.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, you guys. Well, anything else to add about our Kanye crush?
Yeah, I mean, I just would say, you know, take risks creatively. Take risks
agree.
And do it in the spirit of positive, you know, future goodness. You know, don't do it to be a jerk.
No, exactly.
You know? Do it to make things better and take risks. So.
Yes, and do it for the Hennessy.
Until next time.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.